What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Garage. Today we are back working on the 2002 Mitsubishi Eclipse my daughter has affectionately decided to call Kira. We have the motor out. Today's video, we are going to go through this. We're going to strip it down, clean it up, inspect, and see what it is we're actually working with here. This is a used motor from a junkyard. I'd like to get this thing in, not have to worry about it for the next 6 or 7 years. So let's just jump right into it. Let's get everything stripped off, cleaned up, and see what we got. All right, so I went ahead and removed the wiring harness that they left in. They, when they pull from junkyards, they just cut everything and send it. So this has definitely been sitting a little while. It's nice and dirty. Removed leftover hose that they cut. That's about it. So we're going to start with the front dressing. Let's get the manifold off, the power steering pump, and the AC condenser, because that's all off of the other one. We're going to use what we have already. I think it's in better shape than this. Water pump will check out. Alternator is completely done for. So let's get some tools together and get started. All right, so we're going to start by removing the heat shield so we can get a better view. That's been on there a minute. All right, well, this is just rotted out, so no point in fighting it. All right, so this is all coming back to me now. Power steering pump's going to come off first because that's going to make it easier to get to this final bolt. All right, so 3 bolts for the pump, 2 in the front, 1 in the back. All right, so once the power steering pump's removed, we're going to get this bracket out of the way. I'm trying to do this one-handed. Try not to lose any of the hardware for this one. Get an extension. Alright, let me see. What did I miss? I don't think I missed anything. This one right in the face. Start removing the air conditioning bracket. Hopefully these ones don't break off. That's what happened on the last one. These ones snapped. Caused me all kinds of problems. Somebody replaced this before. Because that's no longer a 12 millimeter. I did not use a 13 millimeter on any part of teardown. See if this holds up. Oh yeah, that's seen better days. All right, so once that's off, four bolts on this. All right, that's going to give us full action to the full action. That's going to give us full access to the manifold, which I believe are 14 on the end and 12 on the inside. So the only one that can be a real pain is this one right here. The rest of them you can pretty much get to. Actually, this one might be a problem too. It's hard to remember which one's accessible and not. I'm gonna get new studs for this. All right, so that leaves two as manual removal. This engine's definitely seen better days. Hopefully we didn't waste our money on this engine. It was maybe a third of the cost of a better tested one, but we took the gamble. Sometimes you gamble and sometimes you lose. You get spoiled with power tools, forget how long it can take to ratchet off a rusty nut. Maybe I should have spit on it or something first. All right, so once all the 12s are removed, go ahead and undo the 14s on the end. Sure you want to see what's going on. And we'll just throw the nut on. She on there a little jammed. Ah, that's right. On these, there is a support bolt on the bottom here to hold the catalytic converter. There we go. All right, so show you what we got. There's some moisture in here. This one's dry. I don't know what's going on there, which unfortunately tells me that this head's going to probably need to be checked and gone through. So we may be reusing an old head, because this valve was probably partially open. Moisture got in there, came through. I know it's hard to say till we get the head off, but I don't, coolant in there maybe? I don't know what the hell, I don't know what that is coagulating in there. I don't know. Keep it moving and find out when we get there, I guess. Next step is the alternator. Up top. So 12 up top, 14 on the bottom. Maybe. She don't want to come off. There we go. So we got power steering off, alternator off, AC compressor off, exhaust manifold off. Let's yank the starter. We are doing this in no rhyme or reason. This is just the order that we're doing it in. Definitely do some power washing and painting, that's for sure. This block's seen better days. Alright, well currently the engine stand bolt's in there, but I think we'll be alright if we take that out. Relocate it if needed, if we need the extra support. All right, start taking off the water. Change up the attack strategy a little bit. I'm going to pull this valve cover off. Let's see what's under there, because I think I'm just going to pull this whole head, and I think I'm just going to take the head off of the other motor and just reuse this lower end. I think that'll just be smarter all around. Of course, this tab's bent from being used as a pickup, so it's in my way. It's not Need bigger pliers. let's see what's going on under this valve cover. So, up top doesn't look too bad. That's maybe a little late on an oil change or two, but overall, there's that. Is that the coating coming off? Oh, that might have got hot right there. This was over here. And we got scorch here. Yeah, that was getting hot. Uh-oh. So that's not oil, that's heat. This is a painted coating that got hot to the point that it started to peel off. You can actually see that if you look here. Let's see if you can pick it up on camera. These are all pretty consistent in color. And then you get down here, and grab a light. You get down here, and you can see on this one there's some brown discoloration. That appears to me like that got hot. I think that's what happened, is that got hot. So it's not a good sign for this head, but like I said, I think we're just going to pull this head off and not even worry about it anyways. So we'll skip pulling the intake and just go straight to pulling the head off. And let's get with it. You can also tell, I don't know how well we'll be able to show it on camera. If you can see down there, somebody pulled these boots off and let it sit. So that's all some rust and rot down there. Chances are those spark plugs weren't coming out. These are the things that happen when you gamble. Now normally if I were going to rebuild this and do all this, I would have broken these all by hand. And the reason you would do that is you can feel if any of them are loose or anything like that. However, I'm not even going to use this head, so I'm going to check the deck for straightness after we're done with this. Oh, got to get the upper timing cover off and out of the way over here. All right, so we're going to pull the front dress off, get this down so we can get the timing belt off and get this head off. Because it just doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna have to get the manual to put this back together because I don't want to mess it up. I'll need timing procedure and stuff like that. Jumped ahead of here. I removed this pulley off and gave us access to the last timing cover bolt. This is where we ended up. I went ahead and loosened the tensioner up. Let's get that out of here. All right, and we can take the belt out. So, looks like, let's see what we got here. Looks like the only thing keeping the head attached to the block is the coolant rail. Which is undone here. So let me try and lift this up and see what happens. See if I can slide it out. Let me get all the bolts out. These are nice and tight for fat hands like mine to try and get down and get. But we're making progress. Maybe we'll get lucky and this thing will lift off or slide off or something. Doubt it, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to figure out as you go and learn a thing or two. Little magnet action. Make life a little easier. Alright, so that is all the head bolts out. Make sure we got nothing holding us up. Let me get the dead blow under there. Give it a little love tap, see if it breaks free. Alright, is the intake attached to anything? Dipstick tube. Got that hose right there. Alright, so I think we just undo this dipstick tube and this support bracket down here. We'll be alright. No idea what's about to happen. Alright, so there's that. See if we can get her free. Really trying to avoid taking the whole intake off, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. There we go. Should have thought this one through. I just put every possible thing I could in my way. Jeez. I knew I was coming over here with this. Here and take a look at the pistons. Woo! This lower end is not as good as I thought it was. Okay, well, some nasty. All right, I guess we're gonna pull the pistons and the piston rods out of it and the crank, and then do the same on the other one. So let me get set up and situated, get this wiped down enough to do something with, and we'll be back. Okay, so we went ahead and pulled off the oil pan to inspect, make sure it doesn't feel like any toasted bearings here, and everything feels pretty good. A little side to side play like it's supposed to have, but no up and down. So looks like what's going to happen is I'm going to pull this completely apart, take the crank and the pistons out, just so I have them if I need them. Set this off to the side. We're going to go over to that engine in the next video. I'll do the same process, tear it all down, get the head off, and we're going to bring the crank around next time, measure the crank, see if we need to swap the crank or not. I'd rather leave this crankshaft in here and not have to do that, but if the other one's worn down, then we got to do what we got to do. So, all right, so I went ahead and pulled the first piston just to see what we're getting into, and definitely nasty, but overall, I think this engine would have ran. At least the lower end would have. The upper end would have run too. I have a feeling this wasn't parked or wasn't scrapped because of the engine. Probably transmission or an accident or something. But yeah, those are pretty good. What I'll do is I'll get all these out and I'll soak them and get some new rings and stuff on them. So we'll go through that whole process. I'll probably save this for another video going through these. For right now, I'm just gonna bang all these out real quick. We'll take a peek at them and go from there. All right, I may have got greedy and tried to do two at the same time. And then what do? They just get into a position where they doesn't want to give me any wiggle room. No big deal. So we're going to push that back. All right, so wiggle it back and forth a few times to get it freed up a little bit. It's getting stuck right there, probably on all the gunk built up in there. I don't have my brass bar here, so we're going to use the dead blow and a mallet. Whoa, we're going to throw them around now, apparently. There we go. All right, where is, lost my bearings in there. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and take everything off so we can get this front cover off. If you had to put this back together, make sure you either A, know where everything goes, or B, have the manual. I recommend the latter of the options, but you know, feel free to do it however you see fit. This is not a super easy engine to do, but it's not super hard either, so. I don't believe there's anything else holding this on other than the gasket and age. Oh, gear maybe? Nope, nothing a hammer won't fix. That was definitely the oil pump. Alright, so we're going to get all the flywheel bolts out, so that way we don't have to worry about them, because those are going to have to come out in order to pull the crank. Probably not the right way to do it. The right way to do it would probably been I should have took it off first, but I didn't think we were going to pull the crank, but yet here we are. So I ran a pry bar through onto the oil pan, bottom of the block, and the arm of the engine stand. So. And I got a wrench on, a couple whacks with the dead blow, free it up. And then once that Loctite's broke free, it's no Loctite. Once that Torx broke free, pretty simple from there. hot. Well, it was a little hot, a little burnt. I'm sure that oil never got drained out. That was stuck in there. All right, so what do we got here? We got a girdle. I think this girdle should just pop off now. Yep, there she is. Yep, that's got to come off. It's always got to be one bolt. It's always got to be one bolt that causes problems. It's all right. We'll get these other three out and sneak a wrench or something in there. All right, so got the front seal off and everything's apart. Let me see if I can get this with one hand. Nope. All right. Oh, there's the main bearings. All right. That's the crank. It's out. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it's out. All right. It's out. It's on the bench. Get a little light on here. It's out. It's on the bench. And yeah, I think we're okay. I'll go through, take some measurements on it, make sure everything's good, but I don't see any damage. A little normal wear. So I think we're all right. Take a peek at one of the main bearings. All right, here's a set of the main bearings. Yep, some light wear. You can see the lines in it right here, but nothing's thick, deep gouged. I mean, I'd say it's a fairly normally worn bearing. Maybe a little high spot here, but yeah, I think we got lucky with this. All right, so that's gonna wrap this video up. I am gonna rinse and repeat on the other engine to get it down to the pistons and the crank and see exactly what is going on there. I know we have a bad bearing on that. We'll get some measurements on the crank in the next video and see if we're swapping cranks or if we can get away with good old piston swap. Excuse me. But yeah, anyways, that's the teardown on this motor. Next time we'll cover the reassembly and inspection of the other one. So if you like the video, make sure you hit that like button. And this has been another episode of MM Garage. We'll see you next time. As always, have fun hot rodding.